Hello, y'all. This is Richard Lowe. I'm the host of Leaders and Their Stories podcast and the owner of the Writing King and Ghostwriting Guru. I'm here with Joe Rockey Jr., and he's going to talk about how he's the cause of the recession. Joe, why don't you talk about yourself a little bit?
Yeah, something like that. Well, first of all, thank you for having me back on the show. I love doing it and just love, hopefully the audience gets a grasp of what we're going with here. And, to me, we really sit back and look at what causes problems, and this is globally speaking for any sales environment, is people like to talk to normal people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, let's talk to a robot and hope this works out. And the problem is, and this is honestly, like, this is almost guaranteed human nature going to cause the recession, the next recession, but an economist wouldn't see it this way. And it's a little bit different way of looking at it and what you guys can do to fix it. But the simple fact is from a sales and a buying perspective, people want to actually talk to people and have individuals solve their problems. Sure, you might have the same uniform on as everyone else in your company, but it's a connection with you, that person that they're connected with. You're the car dealer. You're the guy who actually sold me this Ford. It's not Ford overall. It's Jerry. You're the guy. You're the reason I bought this Tahoe or whatever. So that's awesome. And the real cause behind all of this and why I think the whole thing's going to implode into infinity beyond is because of AI. And this isn't to be like, oh, AI is scary, avoid it. Like that's not what I'm trying to say here. What I'm saying is that we have to dive into the real reason that AI is taking over. And this part to me is kind of like an unavoidable fact.
So you're saying that the Terminator's coming?
Dude, there's some days I kind of just wish it would, because it would make life so much easier. Like I think there's times that I am built to be in a post-apocalyptic society. Like, I could do it. I would win with it. Let's do it.
But would he have an Austrian accent? That's what I want to know.
So from the problem of why AI keeps getting pushed out, it's getting revealed in little snippets here and there. Gallup last week just released an updated response of how many people are actually engaged at work. It's 23% for the American workforce.
Sounds high to me, actually.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's less than a quarter of the people who are actually coming into work and giving their all. And you can back out and go, there's lots of reasons why, right? I mean, our phone dings every 6 seconds, but that's part of it. But we've always had distractions at work. It's not like there wasn't radios bringing out the Yankees game when Babe Ruth was coming up to bat and everyone was following him. There's always been distractions at work. People got pregnant. People had life events that they had to think about. How am I going to, do this, that, or the other? The distractions in and of themselves are not the reason. It's not Twitter's fault. As much as everyone wants to blame Twitter for everything, it's not Twitter's fault on this one. The fundamental reason, and this goes in cycles, is that businesses are in a phase where they don't care about their employees anymore. And if you want to test this, go back to the 90s. What was your benefit package like back then? You were seeing people getting golden handcuffs, first class. Just think about how much it would cost you to, again, if you were that age, to pay for actually having a kid. Your insurance covered the vast majority of it because your company bought the insurance that would. Now they're cutting corners everywhere along the way. And you get a very natural human being response, which is, you don't care about me, I don't care about you. And then the ultimate office space event occurs. I'm going to do just the least amount not to get fired.
So they call that quiet quitting.
That's exactly what's going on. Gallup also reported that 52% of people are looking to work somewhere else than where they're at. This is the problem that we are having. As much as people want, so what is businesses realize this? Like, when you're about to get broken up with, you can feel it. And when you're getting that from 50,000 people, you got to come up with a solution if you're a major employer. So what's the solution? AI.
Obviously AI, yeah.
The AI will figure it out. And that's not the real problem. Shutting down the AI is not the solution. Shutting down not caring about your people is the solution. And it is so many little societal things that you can build in easily. Actually spend time with your people. Do it outside of the work environment. Don't micromanage. All of these little basic things that people do, actually take an interest in their lives like you would with anyone else, like your friends. And there's just so much in society and lawyers that make people want to not do this, because all lawyers see is lawsuit. You talk about their family, you talk about their girlfriend, don't do it. Well, if you want them to actually care and you want them to show up and put the extra time in, you want an attorney to give you 60 hours a week fresh out of law school, his girlfriend-spouse needs to know why they're doing it. And it's got to, at the end of the day, is the check ain't enough anymore. And that's the default problem from the business's standpoint globally that we're at. Well, I'm paying you, so you better care. That's not how human beings work. Might be how robots work, but that's not how human beings work. And again, this is why there's going to be a recession. None of this is an economics response, but it's a human being response. And we still control the economy, not the robots.
Well, except for the trading floor, it probably has a lot of AI in it.
Well, it does, but that's a side story.
Yeah, indeed. That sounds very interesting as a theory. I definitely see that the employers are less engaged, and they're actually starting the process of quiet quitting. It's actually their fault. And they always say, well, the employee's quiet quitting, it's employee's fault, blah, 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 blah. No, first of all, you got companies that give way too many benefits. The old Twitter comes to mind before Elon Musk bought it, where, I've heard stories of things like, oh my God, it's like they were catered.
Well, there's a reason for that, though. The reason you do the benefits is because this is an economics answer, because it's cheaper to go out and have catering, to have a ping pong table, to have whatever benefit you're giving, than it is to be in a price war for the top 3% of the most qualified people in the world.
Unfortunately, the Twitter employees tended to be the lower bottom 20% of the people for the most part.
That's just poor management at that point.
Which is what we found, because Twitter's doing fine now, as far as I can tell.
But the concept of the benefits is actually the solution. It's you take care of your people
intelligently
so that they want to come to you.
Intelligently.
Yes. And that's the thing. So one of the ways that people do this is earned benefits. And quite frankly, earned benefits, I think, are my favorite thing ever. Yes. So, even go back to the 90s. If you earned this threshold, you got a huge bonus. It wasn't just you were on the team and everyone gets the bonus. It's, no, you were special. And I'm not going to turn this into the generation below me got everything handed to them, participation trophies and blah, blah, blah. But that is coming to roost. There's certainly an element of this here.
Well, participation trophies are absolutely worthless, and they are counterproductive. You shouldn't get a trophy just for being there. You should get a trophy for going beyond.
Yeah. So that's where why I push for earned benefits overall, was because if you say, you know what, whatever the goal is, you put a hard goal out in front of someone and they accomplish it, there are so many psychological wins that your company gets beneficial from too. So say, for instance, say you're a programmer, say you're one of those guys at X, and you're like, we need to make it so that every post uploads faster and there's less error rates. Well, that's a very measurable thing. And you just measure, these are the accounts you're in charge of, these are the accounts you're in charge of, you're in charge of, blah, blah, blah. Who's going to put up the best numbers over the next quarter? Right. And whoever does gets X. Whatever X is in your business culture, that's what pushes people.
A good benefit, I would think, would be, let's say you've got a bunch of salespeople and you offer them an incentive such as, hey, maybe attending a cruise. Yeah. That would be really good. A cruise and speaking engagement, so they get a little work in while they're there, have a good time on the cruise. That's something as an employer you could offer the really high performers.
Absolutely. And I appreciate the plug there. But yeah, as the owner of Elite Business Cruises, that's exactly what we do. Is it doesn't matter what your company is, but sales is certainly the easiest one to economically see. Is, you know how much it's going to cost for any of your benefits. Cruise is obviously part of them, but it can be a steakhouse dinner, it can be a special event on Broadway, whatever. You know what that cost is. And you also know the tangible result in the profits you get from them doing well. If Twitter uploads faster, has less errors, you save money or you make money. Either way, it helps your bottom line. Rig it so that, you know what? You guys ended up making that's going to be 6 times the cost of a steak dinner or wherever we're taking you. So instead of doing it quarterly, we're going to do once every month. And the closer it is in front of people's eyes relative to the magnitude of the reward, the harder people work. The problem is that in so many cultures, business cultures, this incentive package doesn't work because they're afraid of things like competition or someone getting their feelings hurt because they don't win. Newsflash, every business is in competition, period. Like, when did this take over? Maybe softness is the real reason I should have come up with why this AI is taking over. But it's all correlated, and it all goes back to, if you don't care about me, I ain't going to care about you. Look at any second grader out in American playground right now. Yeah. It's basic human nature. You ain't changing human nature because you want it to be different.
No, of course not. It is what it is. And that's an interesting point. So tell us how you're going to cause the recession. That's what I'm curious about.
Well, the one answer would be to just be silent. Another way that literally could cause this is a lot of insecure people hearing this basically going, well, screw that guy. I'm not going to do anything about this. And then next thing you know, your company implodes, because that's the end direction. I mean, there is a convenience factor of the AI and there's a production factor of it, but we still have to make sales to exist. We still have to have our customers want to stay subscribed to us, want to stay in our influence base. And if that doesn't happen through a robot, it happens through someone actually going, this is a thoughtful message I want to send to someone. I want them to connect with me. And guess what? You deliver on it.
I tell you, I'm getting so tired of those AI robots, the ones on the websites or on the phones, that you get caught in AI hell and you just keep over and over and over. I just want a person. Oh, we're going to ask you these questions first. Then you come right back up on the same screen. I just want a person. Nope. You can't. What is this? What is it? It's like, look, I need to talk to a person.
Yeah, they don't have the cheat code like the old phone ones did. Like when you got caught onto a call center, you could just press 0 5 million times until the thing broke, and then eventually you'd get to a person.
Or the IRS,
you can't do that anymore. That's
the IRS, you call like one, you press like 1 0 1. You get to there's code. There is a code, but you just skip all the menus and you get straight to a person, and it's published somewhere, and you're answering the menus in the right order. If you answer them in the wrong order, you're in AI hell.
But it's infuriating to me that people think that this is a good idea, because sure, not everyone's ready to buy from you. Maybe not people, they never buy from you. They may have already mind that, you know what, I'm buying a Toyota no matter what, but I'm still going to ask for this question to learn something. And guess what? Maybe it does change something deep down. Maybe it does start to open a door, because one of the hardest things that got to be solved in any sales situation is, well, why now? Why are you even considering doing anything now? And it might just be, I don't know if I am considering it, but if I get information from you, I might get sucked into your room. And next thing I know, I'm at a closing table and I'm driving out with the Ford. Like, okay, because they were willing to teach me something or entertain me or whatever. But people stuff.
Yep. So you've written a book called Casino Sales Master, which I take it is not about selling casinos.
No, it's not.
It's an interesting title. Why don't you give a little 2 minutes about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's actually about people connecting to people. And this is, in ways, the book is the architecture about why this recession is happening. If you look at your average casino, and basically all Americans are run this way, all American casinos are run this way. The people you actually interact with on the casino floor, the dealers, the servers, all of them from below the pit boss level, which is basically the managers, they're all paid on minimum wage plus tips. So the 30 cents an hour plus tips. But the thing with gamblers is they don't tip the dealers. They'll tip their waitresses, here's your standard buck or whatever for the drink you gave me or whatever. But they don't tip the dealers. Regardless of how much money they're up or down, they don't tip them. And the reason goes back to very core human nature experiences. You took something away from me. I ain't giving you something back. It's the exact same mechanism. So if you can figure out that reality, plus the fact that most people, when they lose, they add alcohol to cope with them losing, and then angry alcohol ends up being very bad experience for the dealers themselves. So I literally just looked at this, just as I looked at it from the employee's perspective at the beginning of this, I did the same thing from the dealer's perspective. They are surrounded by people who are in general angry, don't like them. They don't have any ability to control who comes to their table, because they're told you have to be nice and open to everyone, because anyone might lose money at our table, so bring them here. So then it was like, okay, that's a really shitty starting point. How can we make your life better? And then how can I do it with people who actually can control the outcome? So I started with that second question. In a casino, there's really 3 games that the dealer has complete control over. The chuck-a-luck wheel, where sometimes it's like literally from like the old church bingos, where they have little dollar bills on it and they spin it, and if it lands on $20 times 20. So there's two versions of that. So that and roulette. Every single card game in the casino is auto shuffled. So it's basically, they might as well be a robot just passing out cards. But again, they're people. But on roulette, they can control it 100%. They're actually trained how to do it. And the reason they learn how to do this, it goes back to the first primal element. There's people coming up to them, and that's the only way they can get rid of them. I make you lose enough, you won't have enough money to be here. So I'm going to learn how to miss your numbers. So they do. Which also means you learn how to hit specific numbers.
Interesting.
You can get into the whole book, the whole scheme, but that's essentially it. Is I figured out how to make their lives better, made it great for them, and that's why even in the most one-sided sales environment, a place that guarantees you to lose, applying human nature experiments, human nature thought processes to real life is how this applies and actually makes people want to see you succeed. How to create win-wins to the max.
Well, that's very fascinating. Listeners, you should go run and buy that book immediately. It's you'll get a lot. I've skimmed through it. It's a very good book. You'll get lots of interesting things. It'll help you in your life. It'll help you in sales, and you'll help out poor Joe who needs the money.
All for that. Sell more copies.
And you got any last words to say before we end off?
Like I said, I don't want there to be another recession for something that's as basic that literally has been talked about since the days of the Bible. Treat each other right, actually care about your people, and your business will skyrocket because caring less about people has never been more in style since Carnegie. This has been, and we saw what happened there. The companies that did care about each other, boom, took off and skyrocketed. And some of them are the household names of America now. Your company can be that just by caring about your people and doing it correctly. And personally, I vote for earned benefits, and one of the best ones are Elite Business Cruises, and you can find us at elitebusinesscruises.com.
Very good. Thank you for appearing.
Thank you.
So, this has been the Leaders and Their Stories podcast. I'm Richard Lowe, the writing king and ghostwriting guru. I have a book coming out called The Ghostwriting Advantage, and I'll soon have a link for that coming up that you can go pre-order it, and it'll be out probably in April. And it's a great book. I wrote it myself, but it's a great book. It talks about ghostwriting from the client point of view. So how to find a ghostwriter, what to look out for, what are the red flags, what are the green flags, all that stuff. So you can find me at thewritingking.com or ghostwriting.guru. And this has been the Leaders and Their Stories podcast. Thank you very much for appearing.